Your girl Taisha P with another podcast style video. Welcome to my platform, Trusted Transformation, where every day is an opportunity for evolution. And what's on my mind today is the pivotal moment of a creative's journey where they make the decision to really go all in. And I feel like I've realized that I've teetered the fence for way too long. I started Trusted Transformation around May and June of 2020, and looking back over the years, I've went through many phases. There was a phase where I was trying to figure out my branding and how I wanted to style posts that I made and the fonts I wanted to use and the logo and the color and the website. And I feel like looking back, that was the easiest part of the whole journey. And I know for so many people, that is probably where they struggle the most. But for me, it was the easiest part because with the type of creative work that I do, it's a blend of artistry and motivation. Two things that are near and dear to my heart. I love to create, I write, I journal as much as I can, and my blog is the physical form of a accessible journal, if you will, worldwide. And then on top of that, I was also making videos similar to this one, but I was on camera, which I will be soon. I just feel like I'm following that urge and that desire to just create more than worry about, okay, let me be always seen. Because sometimes I think what held me back was that need for perfectionism and that need for, okay, let me make it that top-notch production. Whereas right now, I know that I can quickly get out my messages and then go back later, tweak, see what worked, see what didn't, and then make the adjustments as necessary. But I'm definitely going to be on camera, so that's not anything to worry about. But yeah, the focus is more of just getting it done right now. And going back into what I was saying about the getting it done, I was so concerned about the perception of what the brand looked like and represented, and even to the point of the messages that I shared when I wasn't showcasing my artwork. I feel like to some extent they were a bit watered down. Not that I didn't speak my true mind or say what I want to say, but it was more of like, okay, I'm going to say what I want to say, but I'm going to say it in a way that the people listening to this are not going to feel attacked or triggered, and that the message is still received. Where I feel like sometimes the most important part is to just be fully transparent and say what you have to say, because at the end of the day, when your heart is in the right place and your intention is in the right place, people can feel that, and those that resonate with the message that you're sharing will ultimately get that where you're coming from isn't coming from a place of disrespect. It isn't coming from a place of belittlement. It isn't coming from a place of trying to harm or hurt them, but it's coming from a place of having wisdom that you feel inclined to share. And I've learned that at this point in time, that pivotal moment that I've finally reached was, am I going to show up as my authentic self and my true story? I think that so many times we want to create, whether it be music, whether it be artwork, whether it be poetry, whether it be clothes, anything really, that it is an audience. You're not just creating to for it to just be just out there in the world and nobody consumes it. I don't think any artist does that. But at the same time, sometimes as an artist, we have that business mindset in the sense of, I understand that somebody has to find value in this painting in order for me to sell it. It doesn't have any value until money gets exchanged in a technical sense. Whereas okay, now that somebody has found there's a price tag that they are willing to pay in attachment to this piece or this concert ticket or this album, then it's like, okay, yeah, like my work has value. My art is, worth spending money on. And I understand that business, the customer comes first, but at the same time, as an artist, you have to decide who your customer is and reach that person, as opposed to saying, okay, I'm going to just tailor who I am to being somebody I'm not for the sake of attracting customers. Because one thing I've noticed is people are fleeting. The people will love you one day and hate you the next. People will support you and be your biggest fan and then say they never believed in you and they hated you, everything you did, and you ain't ish and your work sucks. And nobody will necessarily always say it to your face, but in how it's being, received and the responses that you get, you can pretty much gather through context clues what it is if it isn't being said straight up. And keeping that in mind, and that goes for the good too, because some people will be your number one fan and never say anything. And I believe that I've experienced that. And I'm not sitting here saying I got fans and all of that, but I know that there are people that silently support me because I have my ways. But I also just know, because one thing I can guarantee is when I put out any type of creative anything that's truly my art, whether it's just a motivational conversation like this right here or artwork, I'm gonna get some type of response. And even one response from one person shows me that what I did wasn't a waste of time. Pardon me for this pause. I got to take a sip of my coffee. But yeah, I think that so many times as a creative, you're like trying to cultivate your message from the perspective of what will people like. And I think that is one of the most, I don't want to say crucial things to leave alone, because you still want to connect with people, but it's one of those things where it's like it has to be reframed to, what do I think the person that I'm targeting needs to know? And I think that's a mindset shift that I'm learning. I'm learning to say it isn't about how can I shift who I am. It's about how can I create a world that others want to be a part of because it resonates with them and because it shines a light on something that's within them that they feel connected to naturally and organically. Because when you try to create an image that people associate, all right, yeah, I like that image, da 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 da, many times they aren't real supporters. They may support you at your height. They may support you when you're number one on Billboard. They may support you when you got a radio hit. They may support you when your money is up. They may support you when, a lot of other people support you. And it's like the common thing of, oh, that person's hot, let's follow behind them. But it's different when you gather a group of people that genuinely say, yo, not everything necessarily that you do, they're the number one fan, but that they definitely just are a genuine supporter of when you do put out something that resonates with them. And if they just in general have a liking to you, they support. I have a story that, should I say it in this one? Because I don't want it to be too long. I guess I could. Everybody that knows me are probably going to be like, this girl is always talking about it. But I have a story about, honest to God, out of nowhere, literally just became one of my favorite artists in the world. Probably my favorite artist. No, I mean, it's a little bit of a tie between him and J. Cole. But, I don't want to talk about J. Cole being my favorite artist because he's mainstream, like super mainstream. So I want to talk about somebody that's a little less mainstream. And his name, if you don't know him, is Masego. A lot of people that know him on a mainstream level might know him for his song Tad Ow. Some people may know him from Champagne Poetry because Drake used the beat for Navajo, his song. Some people may know him all types of ways. I'm not 100% sure everybody's origin, obviously, of learning about who Masego is. But my introduction to him was, I believe it was the summer of 2020 or just some time around 2020. I just was into Don Toliver so heavy. And the crazy part is, much love to Don Toliver, I didn't even really like him at first. I don't know why. It was just an acquired taste for me. And then I just started listening to him more. And I'm like, nah, Don Toliver is actually dope. Like, his sound is unique. But I like it. I don't know. It just grew on me. And then he grew on me a lot. And one day I was cleaning up my bathroom and I just played Apple Music has the artist page, and I was just playing all his stuff, and this song comes on. It's like, and I'm like, who is this? Like, I don't know. Like, I just immediately connected to the song, and I'm vibing with it, and the song keeps going. Thinking I can make this many songs out of lady when I haven't read it. She on me, baby, almost everybody. And I'm like, nah, this song tough. Who is this? And I'm just bumping the song crazy. I'm like, nah, this guy's dope. I gotta check out more. I end up listening to his music, finding some other artists that I think are dope as hell. I knew who Sir was because of his brother D Smoke, even though Sir been out longer, I think. But I heard some songs with Sir, love him now. Heard some songs with Alex Isley, that's my baby. I love her music as well. Good and Plenty, oh my gosh, if y'all don't know that song, listen to it right now. And just in general, I just started discovering a whole discography of an artist that I'm like, yo, this guy is the truth. And Masego just grew on me crazy. Like, he skyrocketed above, I should say, so many other people I've been listening to years. So much so to the point where I just went to his concert, fell in love with the music even more. Damn near every time now he's in NYC, I really try to go because I rock with him so much. And funny enough, one time I got to meet him and it literally was a blessing because he gave me some advice that honestly changed my life. And it was definitely, at least that little part of it was a creative to creative conversation where I was just like, yo, I'm going to listen to you because you know more than me. And I need to take a plunge and I need to take a chance on myself. And even with that, I did take a chance on myself in the realm of what he was talking about. But beyond that, I realized that I still had so much that I was holding on to because I was holding on to what people would receive the wild child Taisha as. You know, I've grown up kind of feeling like the black sheep in a way. Not because, you know, I've been shunned by my family or anything like that. But it just, you know, when you're that person that always is kind of saying stuff that, or doing stuff that's like, you know, you're the weird one. Pretty much, yeah. Even down to the littlest things. Like, everybody in my family is right-handed but me. I'm the only left-handed person. Like simple stuff like that. But it even expands into bigger stuff. I feel like there were times where I'm having conversations and I'm like saying how I really feel about something because it bothers me, and it's like, nah, Taisha, you wildin', just chill. And I'm like, yo, it's always just chill, but then we talking about it. Like, can we talk about it? Can we have a convo? Like, I think, that's the struggle sometimes you have as a creative, where you're just like, bro, I just have to say how I feel, and I don't need your back chat. You know what I'm saying? And if we gonna have a convo about it, whatever, but I just want to be me. And I think the pivotal moment was me giving myself, in this moment especially, that freedom to be me. That freedom to say, yo, I'm dope and I'm gonna be dope. And that's that. And I think, so many people, they want to create, but they don't have the confidence sometimes to just say, I'm doing this for the person that, the person that needs somebody to show them that being you in all your you-ness is okay, and it is great and grand, and you have nothing to fear. That God has given you what you need to be all you could be. And you just gotta do you. You just gotta do you. You can't sit here and be so afraid. You can't sit here and worry about what everybody and this person and that person is gonna say as a response to your art. And I realized so many opportunities I've probably missed out or passed up on just subconsciously because I'm sitting here so fixated on what is the reception going to be. And I know this kind of piggybacks with what I said first, but it's such a real thing. And that's why I say that this is like that pivotal moment for me, because I realized the pivotal moment is deciding, are you gonna really do what you gotta do for you? Or are you gonna wait for somebody to say, hey, it's okay for you to be you now. It's okay for you to act how you want to act now. It's okay for you to put out the art that you resonate with now. I think every true creative finally faces that moment. That's why, as much as I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I was a bigger Beyonce fan. I still listen to Beyonce. I think she's dope. I think that she is obviously one of the most talented people that have ever existed. Period. I'm not even gonna put a generation on it. Just period. But I'm not gonna lie. I don't listen to her as much as I used to when I was younger. But I know for her, coming out with albums like Renaissance and Cowboy Carter was such a challenge of her creative, energy. I could tell because, for one, she's going into music forms and genres that she hasn't really explored. That's not what her core is. Beyonce started off as a R&B artist primarily, and then, shifted into the pop space. So to be going into music genres like house and country, I know that was a stretch for her. I know that was a test, if you will, of her own belief in what she can do, but also how she will be received by her fans. Because there are some people that's like, I just don't like that type of music. It don't got nothing to do with you as the artist, but it's like, I just don't like that type of music. And At the end of the day, that's how she eats. That's how she provides for her family. So I mean, at least primarily. So, you know, I know that was a stretch. I know that anytime you decide to really say, hey, I don't want to be boxed in. I want to explore the depths of my craft. I want to give myself room to grow and stretch my mind. That some people will feel receptive to it and some people will not be. And that's just the risk you have to take as a person that's being true to what you say your art is. It's about being willing to say, hey, whether y'all rock with it or not, I'm going to be me because this is me. And I'm going to say what I got to say. And I'm going to do what I got to do. That's just what comes with the territory of being a true visionary and an innovator. And a person that understands that, when you don't want to be boxed in, you got to give yourself that space to say it is what it is. I look at so many artists, even though I sing and I dance a little bit, but I'm not trying to necessarily be an artist or a musician. Maybe at some point that'll be something I explore just for the fun of it. But I always have, just off the creative strength, had a very, keen liking to musicians and artists, especially ones that had that were multi-talented, like a Beyonce, like a Kanye West, even like a Masego too, because these are people that don't allow themselves to be boxed in. They don't allow themselves to be restricted to, oh, because you know me for this, that's all I'll ever be, because I don't resonate with that. There's so many different reasons why people are connected to me in my artistic work. Sometimes people want me to do their hair. Sometimes people want me to write for them. Sometimes people wanted me to do their makeup. Sometimes I've just decided to paint, and and I was featured on something from my painting. It just is like it's not one category, and you have to get comfortable with saying, I can't be categorized. I can't be boxed in. I'm making this decision. I'm doing me. And always keep them on their toes. The artist got to be also, like, the creative has to be comfortable with keeping people on their toes. Keeping people guessing. Letting people know that you cannot map me out. I am not predictable. You have to be that person that decides to say, hey, I'm going to be me. And what that looks like might look different tomorrow. But I'm still me. So yeah, to sum it all up, because I know I went through tons of places with this conversation here. But essentially what I'm getting at is, as an artist, as a creative, the pivotal moment that many of us will have to come to terms with, if you haven't already, is just deciding to do you and letting your tribe find you, as opposed to being what you think people want and trying to generate a tribe like that. Because most people will support you in the beginning, or maybe not even. And either way, you're going to just feel unfulfilled because you're not staying true to who you authentically are, and letting those that resonate authentically be magnetized to you. It's always better to just show up as you are and let it flow genuinely and naturally than trying to contort yourself and twist and flip and everything into being somebody that you're not, and then still end up with the short end of the stick. It's just not worth it. So be true to yourself, love all that you are, stand tall in your you-ness. I like that. You-ness. Yeah, like just stand tall in that and know that the ones that's looking for you, they're gonna find you. So that's all, folks. Taste your peace, signing out. Later, y'all.